Hello, everyone. In today's video, I'll walk through how employer-paid fringe credits are configured and used within HCM TradeSeal. At a high level, we'll cover what fringe credits are, how they're configured within HCM TradeSeal's platform, how they impact prevailing wage calculations, where to validate them, and also where to take a look at them within the platform. I'd also like to quickly mention that HCM TradeSeal supports API integrations, allowing employer-paid fringe credits to be automatically transferred into the platform from your payroll, HR, or benefit system. Also, quick disclaimer before we begin. This video is intended to explain TradeSeal functionality. It's not intended to determine whether a benefit qualifies as a bona fide fringe benefit under Davis-Bacon or other prevailing wage regulations. If you have questions regarding eligibility, please consult your legal counsel or prevailing wage specialist. So at a high level, what are fringe credits? Under federal Davis-Bacon regulations, certain employer-paid benefits may be used to satisfy a portion of the required prevailing wage fringe obligation. Within TradeSeal, these benefits are referred to as fringe credits. Rather than paying the full fringe obligation as cash, qualifying employer-paid benefits can reduce the amount of prevailing wage cash owed to the employee. TradeSeal does not determine whether a benefit qualifies. The system simply applies the fringe credit values provided by your organization. So now I would like to demonstrate a high-level holistic example calculation. So I'd like to bring your attention to the top left box. This is what a wage determination will generally require, is a prevailing wage rate, a prevailing wage fringe benefit amount, or prevailing wage cash. And these two items will make up the total prevailing wage package. In the top right, this is your example employer fringe credits. So in this example, I have health and 401k. There's a multitude of things that could apply. It could be dental, health, vision, 401k pension. For simplicity, I've chosen health and 401k. In this example, we have a total fringe credit amount of $6. So for the actual calculation itself, what TradeSeal will do is it will look at the required prevailing wage fringe amount, which in this instance is $10, less the fringe credits of 6, and then it will apply the remaining cash fringe or cash in lieu amount correctly. So in this example, $4. So bringing you into an example TradeSeal instance, I'd like to show how uploading via the advanced employee template or via API will allow you to store your employee data within Data Manager and TradeSeal. So I have the example employee Paul Johnson. One thing I'd like to quickly highlight regarding his base rate, this is his employer paid base rate. Rates from wage determination sheets and prevailing wage fringe amounts need to be uploaded within the rates and benefits tabs. So rates will go in within rates. The prevailing wage cash will go within benefits. To view the fringe credits and validate that they've been uploaded correctly, I would like you to go to imported benefits, toggle over the match section. So in this example, we have a 401k and a health and wellness fringe credit. We've got the amounts listed and then the corresponding calculation methods. Now to actually upload to TradeSeal via the advanced employee template, we do have an article which I can link within the description here that outlines our advanced employee template. Anything that's required on the template is listed in red. What I would like to quickly highlight is the fringe credits portion. So if we take a look, TradeSeal supports up to 10 fringe credit per employee. So for Sadie Marie, she has a 401k and she has PTO. For Charlie Grace, she has 401k, medical, dental, vision, all lumped together, and then PTO. What I'd like to highlight is there's a fringe name, you have your fringe amount, your period, and your formula. These are the required fields. And once the template is filled out with the correct data, you would then upload and store this data within Data Manager. To do so, you'd come into your TradeSeal instance. In this instance, we're uploading the advanced employee template. So we're looking at the employees tab. What I would like you to do now is make sure that the file has headers is selected because there are those headers on the file. Also, you're including fringe credits via the advanced employee template. So make sure that this is selected. You would then select your file. And then once parsed and imported, you would get a successful validation message from our system. You would then be brought into Data Manager, where you would be able to see the list of employees and their corresponding data. Now I would like to show within rate validation how this is all brought together. So to begin, I would like to look at defining rate status match. This means that TradeSeal is looking at the higher rate between the employee's base rate or the prevailing wage job that was performed. So in this instance, if you hover over the bubble, you'll notice that there's an amount of 28.50. This employee's base rate is actually 23.58, which means that TradeSeal correctly captured the amount for the prevailing wage job that was performed. Within fringe status, if we hover over the match section, this is the same information and data that will be within Data Manager. So you can see this is the 401k and the health and wellness fringe credits. And then next, I'd like to define the under total prevailing wage. This is a nice pop-up bubble, which gives you a high-level overview of the breakdown of the calculation. So as I discussed earlier, we've got our total prevailing wage package. We've got the total prevailing wage rate, which in this example from the job is 28.50. You'll see the total prevailing wage benefits, or in other words, prevailing wage cash. Now, the total fringe credit, that 338 is a sum of the 160 and 178 below. So that's the summation of the fringe credits. And then the 667 is the prevailing wage cash less that 338 amount or minus, which would create your cash in lieu in this example of 667. So I hope today's video was helpful and beneficial in understanding fringe credits within TradeSeal, and have a good day.